everyone. Welcome to an all new episode of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Kyle.
I'm Jillian.
And how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. I mean, better than I was Sunday evening and Monday. I'm starting to recover from that.
Yeah, that was a dark day for you, definitely. And
Mhm.
even me, even though I'm a 1-for-5 guy, I still had a little bit of sadness in my heart too. But not too much because it spins up every day. But
Mhm.
happy wife is a happy life, as they always say.
Yes.
So, and honestly, I was pulling for the Eagles. I've been pulling for the Eagles. They are my number 2 team. I've told you that from day one. So, I was disappointed, but they gave it their best shot. But anyway, we're here to talk some Union stuff. And
Yes.
our guest today, we finally got him on after many,
Indeed.
just thinking about it. But in all seriousness, this is a guy, when we created the pod, was one of the probably 5 guys that I wanted to get on as soon as possible. And I'll tell a little backstory, everybody. One of the first games we sat in our section, really didn't know anybody. And we were just standing there, me and our other buddy Todd were standing there, and this guy came up to us and started introducing himself. And now, somebody I interact with probably very religiously, and just as somebody that I would say, when you think of on social media, somebody that is always there when somebody's bashing Philly or defending Philly, he's always there. And our guest today, ladies and gentlemen, it is Jeffrey Mitchell. Jeffrey, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Rough day on Sunday, but we thrive on getting kicked in the nuts in Philly. So
for real. And this year we really got it good.
We got, yep. And yeah, but my son Benjamin put it in perspective. Would you rather finish 0-16 or second? You know what I mean? It's not ideal, but it could have gone a lot worse. We could have been sitting on the couch like some of those other teams after the end of the regular season. But Union gave us a run, Phillies gave us a run, Eagles gave us a run. Good times, man. I'll take all the extra sports I can get, and just the feeling in the city when the teams were doing well. And even I was surprised the city took the loss pretty well. No one got too crazy. And yeah, you could just feel the electricity in the air, and it's just, you can feel the brotherly love when the teams are doing great. And I love that in the city.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's one thing, and I know I've said this on the pod before, is one thing when I went to school in Westchester, I know it's not exactly Philly, but it's Philly suburb. The thing that I always love about Philadelphia is it doesn't matter, if they're winning, the whole region just becomes Philadelphia for that day. And it's really cool to see, because, some of these other teams I follow, you don't see that. I mean, you'll see just the hardcore people, and they're like, yay, especially that. And I'll knock on a team that the Eagles beat, San Francisco, diehard Giants fan. And they're a historic team. But when we were making that run, you didn't see people coming out of the woodwork. Even my mom was in San Francisco during the World Series speaking, and she's like, yeah, people are just kind of it's just so you wouldn't see that in Philly. You'd see people just wearing the team's color, and that's awesome to see.
We live and die for this stuff. And, I'm born and raised here, lived here my whole life. So I've never actually been out to California, but it does seem a lot more fickle. Like you said, when things aren't great, it's pretty sparse. And, even when things are going great, it's still, but here it's like you live and die by your sports teams, even when, going through the Sixers with the process, or the Phillies having 10,000 losses, and anything bad you can think of that has happened in sports has pretty much happened in Philly. But people live or die by it. And that's the kind of fans I want to ride with, because when you do get to that pinnacle, like when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I never thought I'd live to see that. And it made it that much more special. And the Phillies, one of the oldest continuous running teams from 1883, to have 2 World Series in over 180 years, you got to be diehard for the franchise to still be around, for the fans to still be around. And shout out to the Fandemic crew. If you guys ever get out to a Phillies game, sit with those guys. They're usually up in 301. It's basically like the Sons of Ben of Citizens Bank Park, and they're wonderful guys. They invite everybody. They make a lot of noise. Like I said, they have as much fun when they're winning as when they do when they're losing. It's a great time.
Awesome. Awesome. And you would love that.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, if you ever want to get out with them, let me know. I'll get you to hook up.
All right.
Sounds good. Yeah, we
Yep.
want to definitely get to some games. I didn't get to any last season, which I regret. It just did not happen. I used to have season tickets, like the Sunday
Yep.
plan, so I used to go all the time. Gave them up when we started just really sucking, and I was like, I'll just watch them suck at home instead. But I still watched them. Just was not chilling out that money, but definitely that's something I want to do.
Now, please get out. Brett and Oscar are like, I don't know if they have an actual prep, but they're like two of the main guys in the group, and just do wonderful stuff. They just did the polar plunge with the Sons of Ben at Citizens Bank Park for Special Olympics, and they're just great guys. Like, my son Benjamin is 12 and loves baseball, and they were like, they took them under their wing, and I've also helped get them into union playoff games and stuff. Like, it's a great camaraderie. Like, they're all about Philly being together, and not, some people are still old school and are like, oh, soccer, but these guys, they watched the final in Subaru Park with us before they went to the World Series game at Citizens Park. So shout out to them. Let's get everybody together and on the same page. Philly versus everybody. I like to push that everywhere. So
yes,
let's get that going.
And even I'm like, amen on that.
Yes,
Amen on that.
Yeah, man, get everyone together. Get them all together.
Exactly.
Yeah. And speaking of that polar plunge, we need to get in on that next year. We were joking. We're like, well, we were competitive swimmers and we don't care about cold water. We will do that. We're like, we'll do it, and we'll jump in and we'll just start swimming laps. We don't care.
I'll put a swim cap on, my old racing suit on. I'll be in there diving.
Oh yeah, that doesn't phase us whatsoever.
No, there's a lot of special things going on through the fan base, and a great way to meet people. Yeah. I've helped with the Special Olympics. They do a unified soccer championship every year. I try to get out and hang out with the athletes and the ambassadors, and it's just wonderful. And we usually do St. Baldrick should be coming up. I've been shaving my head for the last probably 8, 9, 10 years now. I can't remember the count with the pandemic, but anything we can do, like I said, we try to support the community as much as we support the team. And it's part of the thing I like about it. You don't have to, but it really helps you invest in the community and build the family and build the relationships. It's great.
It really, really is. And that's one of the reasons we love being part of this union family. So, well, let's get into a little bit of some Q&A here. So, just give us a little bit of backstory. How did you get involved in becoming a fan of the Philadelphia Union?
Sure. And I'm sure, a lot of people know me and have seen me on a bunch of these things, but just to recap for the newbies and other people that don't know, grew up loving soccer. I grew up in Roxborough. I played for, it was called the Roxborough Indians back then, and they merged with Houston Soccer Club and we became Roxborough United, and just grew up loving the game, but there was, no pro soccer in the city. And I even remember when we had the Philadelphia Charge, you guys might not remember, in Villanova, the female team, I would go up to watch games by myself. Like, I was soccer hungry, but there was a big vacuum for it in the city, which is crazy because we have old teams like Lighthouse and like a bunch of teams in Fishtown. Like, we have such deep soccer roots that a lot of people don't know about. And, start hearing about these crazy guys, the Sons of Ben, in about 2007. And, I didn't go all in, but they were always on my peripheral. Like, I was keeping contact. And then, like, typical Philly thing, I'm like, these jerks don't have a chance in heck of bringing a team to the city, like, just, in fun. But like, they showed that Philly spirit, that Rocky spirit, and they did it, man. And once they brought that team into town, like, I wanted to be a part of it, and just wanted to help it grow any way that I could. And even in the old days, this is not a stab at anybody, but sometimes like the people that create it kind of have a tight circle and you can't always get in. So part of what I do in every aspect of my life is try to just bring in as many people as possible, make them feel welcome. And I hope you guys know it made me feel good, like that you guys felt welcome by me. And a lot of other people have said that. And, it's just something like I want people that love this team to feel included, whether you've been here since 2007 or 2010, or you just got into them yesterday. Like, I feel like you're just as much a fan as I am. And I want to help you learn. I want to make you feel welcome. Like at tailgates, I always tell people, if you don't have someone to sit with, come sit with my family. If you're going to the game by yourself, come to 136. I'll stay right here. Row H seats 20 to 22. Come stand with me. Like, I want to bring you in. So once the Sons of Ben got things going. You guys can attest, very social media savvy. So I was like, Sons of Ben, can I help? You know, these core guys that brought everything, I don't think they expected it to get so big so fast. So I was like, how can I help? And I hope more people do that. Because trust me, I'm human too. We like to complain that things aren't how we want to see them. Oh, the Sons of Ben are doing this and it sucks.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's fair, but how can we do it better? Or what can you do to make it better? And that's what I try to do. I try to get involved and do what I can to bring a changer out to make it positive. And it isn't always going to work, but you know, I'll never be accused of not trying something or trying to make it better. So was the social media director for like 5 years, became vice president, and just, you know, through having a family and coaching at Roxbury United and being a board member there, like my time got pulled. So I don't have an official board title anymore, but I'm like the Jeff, the OG kind of like, you know, forever board member. I try to help the board and the fans as much as possible, however I can.
And I think you hit some the nail on the head there with the fact that you're right. Like, there are so many, and not just you, that really pull the fans in, like the first timers. I see it all the time. There's this group of the old guard, I would like to say, that really goes out of their way to make people feel welcome. And I think that's something you don't see at a typical tailgate. You don't see that all over, you know, sports. And that's one of the things that really drew us in to this. You know, it was something for us, and one of the reasons we started this pod, because the union have impacted us so much in our life that, you know, now we wanted to do something through podcasting and, you know, even, you know, trying to maybe this year get a little bit more involved with, you know, like we were just talking about with the splash and polar punch and then all that. So when something really means a lot to you, like, as you know, you just, you're going to do anything for it, you know?
Yeah. Like, we're totally invested in it. It's like, you know, we haven't been part of the fan base nearly as long as, you know, some, but like, just, it's quickly become a big part of our lives. You know, it's, you know, definitely something that we're glad to be a part of. And Sharon, of course, you know, being the one team we agree on and all, but, you know, but no, it's great. And I love the atmosphere, and, you know, and I love, how included, you know, we felt as, you know, we got to know people and, you know, get to the games, and we want to keep doing that. You know, we want to help, you know, be a part of that and welcome more people in too. Cause I mean, hopefully, with the success that we've had more recently, you know, we'll get more people taking notice and coming to games and, you know, building this fan base.
Oh, and one thing I want to interject with is, like, I'm a music guy by trade, played guitar, punk bands, every kind of band, but it's like, soccer is kind of punk rock here. And we're like the freaks and geeks of the sports community. And I'm like, who are we to shun anybody when we are shunned by, you know, so many other people for our love of this game? So, and like, I get it. Like, you know, it's human nature to kind of click and to be in circles, but it's like, try to welcome everybody. And this is one of those great sports that really does welcome everybody. You know, like, I've met friends of every race, every creed, every, you know, religious and sexual orientation. And it's like, when you're in the stands, it doesn't matter. You're just your family, you know, it's a great feeling. And, you know, like I said, we're all going to bicker, and that's what families do, but just try to love one another, you know, and be kind to one another. And, you know, except for away fans, but, but even then, give them hell for 90 minutes and then, you know, go have a beer afterwards. Like, you know, it should be all about the fun and the love. And, I mean, like, just keep growing the game. And with the World Cup coming in 2026,
it's gonna be awesome.
The eyes of the world are going to be on us. And even something else I reiterate is, my son's 12. He's never known a time in the city without a professional soccer team. And there's a whole generation of kids like that now. When we have Roxbury United events, you know, kids used to show up in Real Madrid jerseys, Phillies jerseys, and it's like, now they're showing up in Union gear. Now they got, you know, favorite players. So it's like the culture's growing, and it's like, the players are wonderful at that too. Like how they'll reach out for the kids and sign autographs, and just the special, like, you know, nothing against like a Jalen Hurts, but it's like, you can have such an intimate relationship with guys on these teams. Like, they want to interact with you on Twitter. Daniel Gazdag, like I said, I shave my hair for kids with cancer every year. he was like, how can I help? Let me get you two signed jerseys. He got me a signed Union jersey and a signed national team jersey. And it's really just great how much they care like
Awesome.
about the
Yeah.
fans. And it is a business. We get it. Moving
Yeah.
parts, people are going to move, but like to see how much the players are invested in the community and in the fans, it's great, especially as this team was started by the fans. Like it seems like, you know, Jim, I don't know if he instills that in the team,
Right.
or if they just feel the love and, you know, whatever it is, but it just seems special here in Philly. Like I said, I can't speak out to other teams, but I have close friends with players that have been off the team for 10 years and you know, even like Zach Pfeffer, first homegrown, it was just his grandmom's birthday the other day, and she's become like our bubby. Like she was like Ben's surrogate grandmother. And like I said, it's just wonderful having such great relationships outside of the game.
You know, that's one of the things that we really picked up with our conversation with Stuart, you know, even though he's been gone for almost a year now, that how much this fan base and this community meant to him. And you're right. You don't, you know, I know a guy at work that's a big Red Bull fan. And, you know, I talk about all the time. He goes, wow, your team's really that connected to the fan base. I'm like, yeah, it is.
It is wild. And, you know, like I feel blessed. Like I've been around long enough, like, you know, can shoot Jim a text message. And, you know, I even, you know, like you guys know personally, but for people that don't, I became friends with Billy, who's been a member of the Sons of Ben since 07. Saw him grow up, become a dad, and became godfather to his child Anjum. And Anjum and Jim share a birthday, and I asked Jim if he could donate a special pair of the Nikes he wore on his birthday to Anjum, and he was kind enough to do that. Like it's like you said, it's such a weird, awesome little community that we have here. And even just seeing Jim's kids grow up in the stadium, or Andre Blake's kids, DeAndre, and just seeing them shoot on the goal after the game, like. It makes you love this team that much more, you know, as much as we, you know, you care about the records, you care about these guys as people too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about 2022 season, and, you know, really what did the 2022 season for the Union mean to you?
It's the greatest season yet. And I say yet, because I feel like it's going to get even better, but it was magic, man, you know, and like I said, with the Eagles, with the Phillies, your heart breaks. You know, I was in happy tears after we got that goal to go ahead, and demoralized when we let up the equalizer and, you know, lost in penalties. But man, like that was the greatest ride of my life so far. Like I have nothing but great things about that, like being with my family on the turf at Subaru Field and hugging and embracing, and just that whole season just had this special electricity to it. And it was just great, man. And like you know, you always want to have the Hollywood ending, but that's not how it goes. And in the city, like I said, we thrive off adversity. So you know, I've been there for the Open Cup final losses. I've been there for, you know, a lot of downtimes, but guess what? I'll take that over them seasons when we couldn't make the playoffs, you know, to save our lives. So just really felt like we took a step up just as a team, like with records on the field with our offense, but even just off the field and growing the game, and also securing that World Cup that, you know, I felt like got snatched away from us last time when they awarded it, you know. So yeah, like just everything seems like it's moving at this great pace, you know. And like I think some of these teams came in, spent a bunch of money, and, you know, like Atlanta, LAFC, and won right away, but it's like, we just keep building and building. Like it's been a great ride. And, you know, like I said, it's going to make it that much sweeter when we do, you know, reach the mountaintop. And, you know, I'm faithful, and I'm going to be there no matter what. So, you know, but yeah, please give us more 2022s and, you know, less 2013s or whatever. But, yeah, either way, we're going to be there. But it was magic. And I'm sure you guys can attest to it. It was just a great season. And yeah.
It was,
you know,
and I'm looking forward as much to it. And I'm one of these guys that, you know, okay, it's time to move on to 2023 season, but I keep going back, and I'm sure you saw in one of our episodes about the scrapbook she made me for Christmas.
Yep.
I sit there and there'll be times I'll just look at it and I'll just be like, man, that game, I can't believe we did that. I can't believe we flew back from Las Vegas just for the Colorado game.
Oh, it's nuts. Back. Yeah, it's crazy how much
crazy stuff like that. It was
becomes so part of your life. We've missed people's weddings for games, and I'm like, people just know that if they see the Union game as a home game on the schedule, Uncle Jeff ain't gonna be there, or whatever, but we know he loves this team, and like, it's just great. And like you said, the scrapbooks, and even, people friend me on social media, whatever. I document all my games. And like you said, just going through some of the old videos and pictures, like every game is so special. And yeah, just the people around you are special. And like, yeah, just being there for over a decade now is amazing to see like I said, the growth of the game, and just seeing your friends and family evolve. Like I said, I went to see Billy as a teenager to now being, a father of 2, and it's great. So and even seeing my kid grow up in the stands it's been amazing. So, I love this team. Not that I don't love the other, Philly teams, but there's something special about the Union. And I hope other people can come and enjoy that. Like, there's not a bad seat in the stadium. The fans are like, at least for me, most fans want you to be there, and they're very happy to help you. If you don't know the game, or don't know what's going on, or don't know the chants, it's okay.
Exactly.
Come out. We'll welcome you.
Right.
Exactly.
And everybody that we've welcomed out has ended up coming back, if not getting season tickets, like just falling in love with it. So come
absolutely
out.
And that's the one thing with me, like our buddy we bring all the time, Todd, he's been looking at, I don't know if he's doing it this year, but he was looking at it. And then a couple other people we've given tickets to, and we've had stuff coming up. They're like, oh man, I need to get like a 9-game pass. And I'm like, this is how you grow a fan base.
It's awesome. And I know everyone's not financially able, but if you are, one of my things is, if I can't make a game, I try to donate to somebody that's never been there.
Yep.
Because soccer, if you don't know the game, doesn't translate well to TV. I think for Americans, that's just my opinion, but because you can't see kind of the off the ball stuff. And if you don't know the game, it doesn't, but when you're in the stadium, you see all the guys running off the ball, and just feeling the energy of the crowd is a lot different. Whereas like, I can watch football on TV or baseball on TV, and I can still have that experience. But for me, like, soccer is kind of like, man, being there is magic. And now that we have our own team, it's okay if you like England and France and Spain teams, but support the team in your backyard. It might not be as good as those teams, but it's going to get there, and it's your team. You have a chance to have a connection with these players, and just invest in this. And I like, the sky's the limit, and we're building a tradition here. Think the Phillies have been around since 1883. Like I said, the Eagles 1933. Like, we're the people building the traditions for the people that are going to be 100 years later, and that's a magical thing to be on the ground floor of something like that.
Yeah. And, I have my 2 sisters, they played soccer and everything. And I've tried to tell them, oh, you should come out to a game. And, they like going to Phillies games and Eagles games and stuff. And it's like, well, they're like, oh, they think soccer is boring, and even though they played, but like, they're like, oh, they see it on TV, they're like, oh, that looks boring, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, come to a game. You would love it. I could especially see my one sister, especially, like, she would absolutely fit in the River End for sure. But she's like, oh, I don't know. But the funny thing was too, like, then when we interviewed Stu, and my sisters were like, wait, you actually interviewed a pro soccer player? Like, you actually got to do that? I'm like, yeah, actually, guess what? Some of these players, they will talk with you, and you can get to know these players, and they, it's just a lot, I don't know. It's easier to get involved with this team than sometimes some of the other teams,
Oh, like I said, they give back, and that's
they give back. Yeah.
That's no, I'm not throwing any shade at other teams. There's just a little bit more of a bubble, because a lot of people in our stands make the same amount of money or more money than some of the players on our team, which is pretty nuts. Like, the payroll's coming along, it's getting bigger, but it's like, I remember the first year, like, homegrowns, I think the minimum was like 30 grand. And I was like, man, some of these guys are making, or whatever it was, or making nothing. They're making peanuts. And, nothing against, other sports bringing more revenue, but it's like, are you getting close to $350 million Bryce Harper? Probably not. Although he is a man of the people. I saw he gave his shoe to a fan the other day.
Yes. How awesome was that?
Although it is weird. Why wouldn't you give them both shoes? Is that a weird thing for me? But it's still a great gesture. But I was like, why walk around with one shoe?
Yes. No.
But no, what a man of the people. But yeah, like I said, it's different when these players are in the same socioeconomic class as us. You see them pull them up in the stadium in the same cars that we drive. You know, nobody's coming in their Lamborghini and stuff.
And they're downtown, you know, partying with everybody after the NFC Championship too. How about
cool is that?
Like Jim's down there, and you know, players down there
Glesnes
like and then it's like one of us.
Well, they must love it too, because they can have normal lives in the city and not get like overwhelmed. You know, 99% of people don't probably know who they are, which is a great luxury for people like that.
Right.
It really, really is. So one thing, and you had told me this story, but you've circulated this picture a couple times, especially when we play Red Bulls. It's a picture of you with the Monster Energy drink. Again, tell this story, because I love this picture, because every time you post this, I just like laugh. It's kind of like what Billy did with the, I guess it was the what's that movie, Mastermind, where it was like when DC, it was like, what, no bid, like, you know. So just share that story a little bit.
First year my wife was pregnant, and we didn't really know what we were getting involved with. We didn't know if the Sons of Ben would be too rowdy. You know, it was the first year we didn't know. So we sat in section 133 right next to the river end. And unbeknownst to us, we purchased season tickets directly in front of where they put the away support, which was pretty shocking to us. So when we found out, you know, we got a little group of guys together, we were like, we got to be louder than the away fans. And my friend Kenny, who passed away, he was ex-president of the Sons of Ben, Kenny Hansen, great guy. But he and our friend Nick were like, what can we do? And Nick had worked at, I want to say Sunoco at the time, A+, you know, and he's like, I can get promotional stuff from Monster and we can bring it in the stadium. And we were like, this is amazing, because that team is a product placement, you know. Even when I do my post, you'll see I say the North Jersey energy drinks, because I'm like, they're not paying me to advertise, so I'm not going to say their name. So we brought in these giant Monster Energy can signs that were like 6 feet tall, you know, snuck them through security, and man, we just had a field day, because you know we were just chanting "We drink Monster" for like 45 minutes, and you know we hate Red Bull for the other 45 minutes, and just building that rivalry, you know, because it's like, man, I'm sure they felt great getting all that cash at first, but it's kind of embarrassing to be like, my team is a promotional product placement and not a, you know, they sold their identity. Like I would be so pissed. So we were like, let's put the screws to them and really let's give Monster a little love. and for a while after that, the Monster Energy reps were giving us free cases of drinks just because they thought it was hilarious. So,
that is epic.
So you know, that's, and like I said, that's how you build these rivalries. And 100 years from now, hopefully we'll be the, you know, old school reference of, oh, the Philly fans threw snowballs at Santa. Hopefully it'll be like, one day I saw a Monster Energy sign at a Red Bull game. So just that's the other great thing, coming up with fun, creative ways to kind of mock your adversaries. And like I said, you know, no throwing punches, but man, keep those verbal jabs coming and really put the screws in on them.
Yep,
absolutely. You want to take the next one?
All right, so so outside of those moments, what were some fun random moments that you cherish as a fan?
Like I said, it's usually being a dad, and you guys might not know, some people that know me do. My dad passed when I was 7 years old, so kind of grew up without kind of, you know, I was like, am I going to know how to be a dad, or what does a dad do? You know, I didn't have a dad. So seeing people take to my son, I'm sure people have seen a picture. We used to go to the open practices at YSC, and one time Jim, who's, you know, a great dad himself, his son Miles just had a birthday, you just grabbed my son by the hand and took him out onto the field to play with the guys. And like, you know, as a dad and just as a person, like, if that doesn't like warm your heart and make you want to cry, like that the coach of your team, you know, cares about the little kids. And even Jim coaching at the academy and raising a lot of these guys up from U9, U12, and now they're professionals on his team. And forming close relationships with Shane and Williams. He was one of our OG right backs, and he had a daughter around the same time, and just having I don't know if you guys know about the River Cup. Do you ever hear about that, when we used to play the front office, the Sons of Ben? And
yes, I've seen some pictures, and like,
it's a great thing. Hope they can bring it back. We used to play for charity, the front office versus the Sons of Ben, and the players would come stand in the stands and chant you know, for the front office and for the sons of Ben, and you know, Ray Gaddis and Shannon holding Ben when he was a baby, and like just stuff like that. Like
That's awesome.
Like not that I don't appreciate, you know, lifting the Eastern Conference trophy and seeing the supporter shield brought out, but my favorite moments are like the family and the friends that I've made along the way. Like I said, my friend Kenny passed away, and like he was my best friend for like almost a decade because of this team. Like, you know, you couldn't find two more different guys that we probably never would have ever crossed paths or became friends if it wasn't for this crazy soccer team. And because of that, like, you know, like he made me kind of the man I am. He was the guy that talked me into shave my head for St. Baldrick's because he was like, no one's touching my hair. I look too good. He was like, send Mitchell out. He'll cut his hair and just stuff like that. And like I said, just meeting all these wonderful people and hearing all these great stories. Like, I don't know if you guys have met little Elliot yet. That's friends with Jack Elliott. He's a cancer survivor, and something near and dear to me. Like, I've never been personally, I mean, we are kind of personally affected, but you know, it's never been in my family, but it's been a great cause for me because they get less funding than adult cancer, which a lot of people don't know about. And if you have cancer as a child, you have all these things that come along with it, like being sick when you're an adult. So it's like seeing these people learning their stories and even getting the team involved to help, like, you know, with the Fearless 43 and seeing Jack Elliott develop that relationship with Elliot and his little sister, Olivia. Incredible. That's the stuff that sticks with me. Like I said, nothing against the on the field accomplishments, but man, just the relationships and the feeling of family that you can get between the players and the people in the stands. Incredible. Even an old story back in the old days when I was a new guy, Brad Utes, who was one of the originals that got the signatures, that got the people, that got the team here. He had a house fire, and I saw all these people come out of the woodwork to help this man put his life back together. And if you don't know Brad, hopefully you get a chance to meet him because he's the guy that helps everybody else. And seeing people rally to him, like it was just, it was one of the most emotional things I've ever seen. And, you know, he's the elder statesman now. He you know, he pops in and out because he's a busy guy. He's still doing charity for everything. I think he's with the Elks Lodge. I don't want to get that wrong, but he's doing incredible charity work. And yeah, just like I said, just how inspired I am by our fellow fans. We have people that are surgeons, people that are, you know, politicians, down to, you know, janitors, whatever else, like teachers, whatever walk of life. And it's just great to see everyone come together and like, yeah, cherish those moments. Like I said, the wins and losses are going to happen, but man, the fun you have along the way with your family is never going to end. So yeah, just enjoy every single moment.
So I wanted to ask this one. You know, we've talked about how the union have impacted your family. Another picture I really love was the picture of you crying with your wife when we went up 3-2, and because that's kind of how it was with us and other fans around us, and then talking with Billy, even talking with Todd Lewis, how they were reacting, and just hearing these stories. Even Matt Ralph sharing his story last week, like just about the excitement. Kind of talk to us a little bit, like, because for me, I blacked out. I remember the ball going in, Elliot running, and I don't remember anything.
Kyle was like kind of, just in shock. Meanwhile, you know, people around me, like I'm hugging, like random people and me, we're all like hugging, and like everybody in our section, we're like, oh my gosh, like hugs all around, high fives all around. We're just like, oh my God.
And I'm just standing there like in shock.
Yeah.
I
was just in shock, and I'm like,
I know that's kind of how I was. It was really like a primal guttural reaction. You know, it was like, even so much so that the woman Marjorie that took the picture was like, I don't know if I should share this because it's so like private and so emotional. And like, I saw the pictures and she's like, I don't know if you're going to be upset because, you know, the game ended up going horribly wrong after that. And I was like, Marjorie, you captured like me in 3 of the greatest minutes of my life. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, the heartbreak did come afterwards, but man, you can't take away. And I'll never forget how good I felt in those moments. And yeah, like it was just pure joy. It was decades of like just having every bad thing that could happen to the union go wrong, and like all of a sudden here we were, and we were duking it out with the highest payroll in the league, multiple DPs, maybe more than they should have been allowed, whatever it is. But no, we went toe to toe, and
it's true.
Yeah.
You know, here's this guy, Jack Elliott, out of nowhere, you know, 77, or I forget what his draft pick is, some ridiculous draft pick, just, you know, fighting for this goal. And, you know, it wasn't a beautiful goal. It was just pure passion and fight. And yeah, that was like, you know, think of how great you felt in those 3 minutes. Like they say your life flashes before your eyes when you go. I'm like, I can't wait to relive that because it was such a beautiful moment. Hugging my wife. My wife was in tears. You know, my son was there. Like you said, I was next to Billy, Jeremy Sharp, just like all these people that I've known for decades, and some people that I just met that day. Like I said, the Fandemic crew guys were there. The Philly captain, he's a big YouTube guy too. Like it was magic. And I would never trade, you know, that good for, you know, even with the bad that came with it, I would not trade anything for the world. That was, like I said, a couple of the best minutes of my life so far. And I know we're going to go there again. So, you know, it's going to be that much sweeter when we do get to blow the whistle and lift the trophy. But man, magic. And that's what the sport does to you. It makes you like primal. There's something about the chanting, I think, and the drums that really like get you in that primal passion, like, you know, going back to your, you know, monkey DNA days of men or whatever it is, you know, that the chanting and you said like the massive humanity, the limbs flying when the goal scores. It's a great experience. And like I said, even if you think you hate soccer, come to a game. If you hate it, I'll give you a refund if you don't like it. But I think that you're going to end up having such a great time. Like, come out.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Yep. You heard it here, folks.
Money back guarantee.
Money back guarantee. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like after the initial, like after the gut punch kind of wore off a bit, I mean, from that, you know, I just could look back on that, you know, moment that we got to enjoy, you know, and just remember the whole run that we had. And it was kind of like, you know, when Joe Carter crushed our souls back in 93. I was 9 years old, and you know, that was my first taste of the Philly suffering, honestly. But we look back on that team, you know, like that 93 team for the Phillies, and you know,
think how fondly that team is remembered. Even more so than our championship team sometimes for whatever reason. It was just a magical thing. Like no one thought they could do it, and they did it. And like you said, the Joe Carter thing, like you said, man, you'll still get PTSD when you see that.
I know.
Highlight, but
I know.
But afterwards, you're just like, what a fun year. We had a bunch of guys that were built like me playing baseball, like John Truck and Pete and Cavilla, and like like
those guys are just legends.
Oh my gosh! So funny story. When I was around that time, I was like a big Phillies fan. I really was, because my dad was. We just like baseball. We go baseball all over. Anyway. I remember after that Joe Carter, he let me stay up that school night, and I went to bed and cried.
Thanks a lot, Dad. He couldn't have put me to bed at 7 and spared me the heartbreak. But no, what a great team. And like I said, just how much fun, and like, you wouldn't trade it for anything. Like I said, some people, and like I said, man, no one feels it more than the players either. So like, I hate, you know, when people act like, oh, it's just a paycheck. I've never felt that from any of our players personally. And I know how much it breaks their heart. Like I felt worse for, you know, Jim, like my heart broke for that guy, because I know how much he cares and how much he invests in this team, in the city, in the fans. And like I was more sad for other people than I was for myself after that game. And but like I said, I love these guys, and they know it. You know, I think I went through, and I messaged every guy, like, you know, I gave it a couple days to breathe, but I was like, thank you. Like, you gave me something that I'll never forget for the rest of my days. And I got to share it with my family. Like, you know, no consolation, I'm sure you guys, but I'm like, please know how much you mean to the city and this fan base. Like, let's go again. Let's go.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that we're definitely going to remember them as definitely something special. And I hope that, you know, we continue to build on this, and this was just one more step towards our ultimate goals, and hoping 2023 will be, you know, even better. So let's talk about the tailgates a little bit here. Like, what makes the SOB tailgate so great, and the organization as a whole?
For me, and I don't understand, like I said, I'm not knocking anybody, but I'm like, if I can pay, you know, I forget what, if 15 or 20 bucks, and I don't have to bring a grill, I don't have to bring a cooler, I don't have to clean up afterwards, I'm like, wait, I can eat and drink all I want for such a little amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, you got the camaraderie of meeting all these new people. Like I said, it's a very welcoming fan base. There's always some people are introverts and don't want to, and that's fine. Everyone's different. But for the most part, whenever I see people, that you can tell it's a newbie, like when you've been there as long as I have, where you just see that person that looks like they're by themselves. Like, it's a great way to just meet people and welcome them in. And just it's fantastic. Like you said, it's more than the sport and this organization and how much it's given back, like with Help Kick Hunger, with the polar plunge. We used to do Stash Bash. I don't know if they're going to try to bring that back, where they would grow their mustaches and have a lot of fun at tailgates. But helping kids with cancer via St. Baldrick's, whatever it is. Like, I love that the SG doesn't just support the team. And some people are like, oh, it affects supporting the team and whatever. Everyone's allowed, entitled to have opinions and yada. But like, I've met some of the greatest people that I've known in Chester, and that's a town that, has been kind of forsaken and kind of cast off because, all the jobs left when the mills shut down. And like, these are still great people. Like, just because, it took an economic nosedive and there's a lot of crime, it doesn't take away from the fact that there's a million people there with a million different stories. And my friend Teron Freeman I met him. He was doing local cleanups, and I was like, how can the Sons of Ben help? Ben and I went down and we were doing block cleanups, and to this day we're still friends over 10 years later, watching our kids grow up and just seeing how the team affects them, and how they're starting to help bring soccer back into Chester High School via the Philadelphia Union Foundation. And, I'll be the first to admit it isn't as widespread or as impactful as it could be, but we're working to make that better. And really, hopefully the people at Chester love having the team in their backyard and don't see it as just an inconvenience. Like, Subaru is really going a long way to try to integrate a lot of social programs in the neighborhood too. And I want those people to fall in love the way the people in South Philly fell in love with the Phillies and the Eagles and the Flyers and the Sixers. And like I said, cultural divide, all this other stuff, but hopefully we're growing the relationship with the people. And when they bring this new state-of-the-art training facility into Chester, part of the Union Foundation's thing is to make sure locals have free space to use there. And I'm like, I love seeing all this stuff.
That's awesome.
Spread love into the world is like a big thing for me, Catholic guy, like, but just I love spreading joy to people. I think that's why God put us here, like, to make each other better and to love one another. And like I said, we're family. We're gonna have our bumps and bruises, and we're gonna butt heads and all this stuff, but life's tough, man. Let's try to make it a little bit easier on each other and make each other's lives better. So like, I feel like the Sons of Ben have done that for me. Even, named my son Benjamin Franklin, after the group. My wife was like, Benjamin, that's the name. And I was like, wasn't sold. And I was like, it's either going to be Ben Kenobi because I love Star Wars, or Ben Franklin because I love the Sons of Ben and Benjamin Franklin. So Benjamin Franklin Mitchell it was.
So there is, and this is get to us because, as you guys all know out there, the Union released their kit today, and we'll talk about that down the road. But Jillian's wearing the the very first playoff win T-shirt, 2019, and I'm wearing
Pro. I love it.
And I'm wearing the old away jersey from the last 2 years, which some would say is the most iconic jersey that we ever rocked.
It's beautiful.
I still like Lucky jersey, which I believe is the 2017 jersey that I'm surprised I didn't stink up 136 because I did not watch that.
Well, we both had our Lucky jerseys. I wore the Unity jersey every game.
I did not watch that since Jose Martinez flicked off the New York supporter section. And
how about, speaking of iconic photos, that Ben Ross photograph of him just behind Brujo giving the double guns to New York. That was beautiful. And that's how you become a cult hero in this town.
Yes.
It really, really has.
Yes.
It really, really has. So my question is, talk to us about your shirt and
my lucky shirt.
Yes, your lucky shirt.
The Blue World Order. And like I said, I'm born and raised in Philly, and I love it here. You might have noticed that from Twitter. But Blue Meanie is a Philly guy, and ECW was like this extreme wrestling. For those that don't know, it was kind of the punk rock of wrestling. It was the WWE was the shining jewel, and it was like, here are these dirty guys in South Philly that look like they need tetanus shots that are beating each other with light bulbs and barbed wire and steel chairs.
Oh yeah,
and just love the Blue Meanie. And if you meet the guy in person, hopefully I'm not giving away his edge, but he's one of the sweetest people I've ever met. He's helped us. He hosted Help Kick Hunger one year. We've gone to see him many times. He's actually training wrestlers at the Monster Factory in Paulsboro, New Jersey.
Yep.
And I don't know if any of your listeners are into the WWE, but Matt Riddle, Damian Priest, and even way back guys like Bam Bam Bigelow train there. And I just talk about, we're blue and gold, but talk about Blue World Order taking over. I was like, this guy's great. Let's honor this guy. And I started wearing this thing to every Union game, pretty much every event I go to, because like I said, he's one of the nicest people I've ever met. I have pictures of my son when he was like this big, putting Blue Meanie in a headlock and Meanie selling it and just giving my kid the best memories in the world. So, I gravitate towards those people that just put so much joy into the world. And he's one of those guys. So, and he's Sons of Ben guy too. Like, he was old school. It took him a little while, but once he came out to a game, he was beating the drums with the Sons of Ben and was like,
oh, that's awesome.
This is great. Why are people, against this? It's the most fun you could have. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, he knows what it is to be a freaking geek, because he was one of those little wrestler guys that, no one gave that promotion a chance, and they ended up changing the wrestling game forever. Like, at points in that time period, ECW was the hottest thing in wrestling. And like I said, it was like the Sons of Ben. It was like the Union. It was all kind of fan generated. Like, these guys barely had 2 nickels to rub together, and they were given the WWE a run for their money. And eventually, they got bought out, and Meanie got to wrestle in WWE and, be in WrestleMania. Just like, I love shining the spotlight on fellow Philly people. All the music artists I like Dave Hawes is from my neighborhood in Roxborough, and the Hooters are another great obsession of mine. And Eric Bazillion, you can see the video on YouTube, actually, just because he's such a nice guy and knows how much I love the team, did his own version of Dupe. And it's just great seeing Philly stick together, because, we're always the underdog between New York and DC. So Philly guys got that chip on their shoulder and they stick together.
Absolutely.
So whether it's wrestling or music or soccer, whatever it is, like, Philly is always going to stick up for one another. Even our news broadcasters, who's bigger than Jim Gardner? What team reps hard for their newscasters?
I know, right? That's what I love about
tailgated
Philly.
his retirement, man.
Right?
Yeah.
That's not happening anywhere else.
No, that's very true. No, it's funny because I would say ECW was my thing back in the day, because they used to come to York all the time.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And I'll tell you sometime a hilarious story. I'm not going to share it on here, but
it's probably not safe for TV if it's
not.
It's
not even safe for YouTube. I'll tell it to you sometime.
That's right. We'll have to do the one team we agree on after dark one time when we could go go a little blue.
But no, like, I just remember, like, it was like, because I'd go to like WWE like shows in Baltimore growing up, back like see Warrior and Hogan, all those guys. But it was funny because you'd be like sitting at the concession stand, and here would come like one of the guys would come in, like, I think, who was it? Was it Primetime Brian Lee's like standing in line behind me, like this huge guy. And he's like, I'm gonna have his Coke. Can I get a Coke, please? And I'm like, okay. And then I go out there, see him get busted up. And over the last couple of years, I made some friends with some local wrestlers here that know the Blue Meanie and have wrestled with a lot of shows. But we used to go to the old bingo hall down today, and those were great because it'd be July, it'd be 100 degrees outside and be like 120 inside. And this is one thing, there'd be like a keg. Do you remember there was like, I remember this one show, there'd be like just a random keg in the corner. And
Sandman used to pound beers in the crowd before he would come in and beat people with a kendo stick, and you're like, this is crazy.
It was like, because I remember I took some of my friends that had never seen ECW, and they're like, what is this? I'm like, this is an experience. And it kind of reminds me a lot of the Sons of Ben, like it's
nuts.
just
it was the Terror Dome, like, it was like, as close as you could probably get to the Romans in the Colosseum chanting for a line to eat some guy.
It really, really was. So
oh, it's the passion. And like I said, my mom wouldn't let me anywhere near the 2300 arena back then. But
really,
every night I was glued to my TV, whatever channel 48 UHF back in the day, whatever you had to do to tune in ECW at the time. Cause man, it was after dark and it was crazy. And
was that on local? Sorry, was that?
Yeah, like I said, I could be misremembering. Meanie's always my guy, but it was like on channel like 48 at like 2 a.m. or something.
Wow, that's awesome.
It might have been channel 60. It was like some weird, whatever cable or not even cable, whatever weird air program they could get the station on, and yeah, it was just wild. And yeah, it was like the early days of the internet before the internet was what it is like, and yeah, the word of mouth, how that thing spread, and being on such a weird over the channel, small channel, like it just grew organically, like soccer did with the Sons of Ben being like, hey, we're going to bring a team to Philly, even though we don't have a team, we're going to start a supporters group. How about that? Like,
and when she watched the documentary, I'd seen it before. That was one of the first things I thought of. I'm like, man, and that's one of the things that drew me into Sons of Ben was like, man, this reminds me a lot of like ECW. As crazy as that sound, how you equate soccer.
A bunch of people that they were just like, it's never going to work. Why are you even doing this? And they were like, screw you, we're going to do it. And it's going to be awesome. And that's why I love the founding Sons of Ben spirit is, who now like it's become a blueprint. You see other people around the globe trying to follow that blueprint and bring teams into their city, but it was like these guys were just like, oh yeah, we're going to start a club, we're going to get a mailing list, we're going to pre-sell season tickets, and people are like, and they even went to the MLS final at RFK Stadium and we're cheering against both teams and pissing off the New England Revolution. And
that's just epic. That's so silly. I love it.
Chanting, I know, exactly. Just starting trouble, which is
did Alexi Lawless get like really pissed off or something about
I forget who it was, Taylor Twellman, one of those guys. Yeah, it was like, why are these guys even here?
Yeah.
And like I said, you can go on YouTube and find videos, they're just chanting against both teams, and the Revolution supporters are fired up because they're like, why are you here? You don't even have a team. Their team's losing in the final. They're having the worst day of their lives. And Philly's just, needling them with all this great stuff. So, yeah, like you said, ECW, Sons of Ben, like, yeah, that organic Philly fighting spirit that goes all the way back to the Revolutionary War. And we were like, hey, let's sign this document and tell the king this, we're not paying our taxes anymore. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I mean, I've really enjoyed being part of the organization and the tailgates and everything. Cause I mean, I'm going to these things, I don't know anybody. Now there's people I actually talk to, and I can be a little introverted sometimes, especially when I don't know people. And, it's just been great, getting to know people. He'll just go out and talk to like everybody, and
yeah, I'm a little introverted myself, but it's like, but yeah, I'll go out and talk.
But no,
to
I mean,
people.
it's been great, and
but even if you don't want to talk to people,
yeah,
if you drink beer, you can drink your way to profit in a couple beers. Stadium beers are like $13.
I know.
So
absolutely.
I tell people it's the best deal, I mean, really, we have a great time.
And it's great. With soccer being such a 2-hour sport with no timeouts, you can get your buzz on, go through the game, and then be okay enough to drive.
Yep.
You gotta learn how to cut yourself
it's
off.
Really true. I remember like the first time I went to tailgate, I think it was a KD because I saw you,
I was in KD.
and you're like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, hey, this is our first tailgate. You're like, this is the best deal in the state. And I'm like, this really is. And that's one of the things we want to do this year with the show is we want to bring the tailgate to people, because I still talk to people all the time. They're like, I'm like, you got to come tailgate. Oh, isn't that for just Sons of Ben's member? No, it's for everybody.
Yeah, like I said, and it's on all of us to spread that word and to put it out there. And, it was, quarantine off, a lot of people might not have known, but to just put that welcome flag out there and be like, hey man, come party. Like, it's a great way to meet people. And like I said, even if you're not a member, you can still come out, you pay a couple bucks extra, but hey man, get that membership.
Yep.
The membership, I always forget the prices, but I'm like, the scarf alone is almost the price of membership.
Yeah.
And then you get discounted tailgates, discounted road trips, a couple of special events during the year. And even now this year, they made it where if you don't want the package, you can donate that money directly to the Bernadine Center, which is in Chester. They do, they're a food pantry. They do English as second language. They help them with resumes. They help people dress for job interviews. Sister Sandra is just one of the most wonderful people. And it's another one of those things where, like we're building this community and hope people see the Sons of Ben and the Union as a source of, hope and, regenerating that neighborhood. And like, yeah, come on, man. Like you can't beat it. It's a 501c3. So, if you're prudent, you can make it a tax write-off to go to tailgates every game for the year. But yeah, it's awesome. So hopefully more people will come out. And like I said, if you're by yourself, if you're scared, at Father Ben on Twitter, tell me you're coming. I'll meet you there. You can sit at my picnic table or whatever you want to do if you feel awkward, and introduce you to everybody. And like before you know it, you'll have friends for life. Like I said, I've known some people for over a decade now, and it's inspiring to see just how much it's grown. And like I said, you're not always going to like what's happening, but there's a great chance to be part of the change. If you want to see stuff change, get involved. Like it's easier to complain than it is to go do the hard work. But if you want to get involved and make a change, the group's open to it. Go do it. You can be president if you want to, but you don't want to. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Be vice president. That's the way to go.
Right. That's the king. Yes. So let's talk about, what are you most looking forward to in 2023 as we are about to embark on that?
Oh man, we're bringing back the best team we ever had with some exciting new additions. So I'm just looking forward to seeing that evolve. And also we have like 5 competitions this year or something like that. I forget.
We're gonna have a lot of time down there this year.
I saw something crazy. Like I think we're in like 56 or 60 some game, and that's not even including the playoffs, I don't think. So
yeah,
to play against Mexican competition, it's gonna be awesome.
It is
like Champions League. And I know, Leagues Cup people are like and I'm like, I'm gonna get to see the Union take on like a Liga MX team, and it's gonna be great. And test our metal against people and see that depth, because we have so many talented people that, like you said, Stu, that couldn't get on the field, not to his own, we saw him come in when the guys got sick in the conference final the year before, but you have Glesnes and Elliott, and same thing with Matt Freeze leaving. Like it broke my heart that it was New York, but I'm like, the kid stuck behind Andre Blake. Like I can't blame him for wanting to go spread his wings.
For real.
Great kid, great guy. I hope he does great in every game that he doesn't play us in.
Right.
But no, it's a wonderful experience. And just seeing with all these competitions that we're going to see the rotation and see the tactical flexibility that we got to read about in that exciting live blog.
Oh, yes. Riveting.
We just like giving them crap. I know it shut us down, but
it was so great. The other week, I forget what it was like, I just posted like, read all about it on today's blog, or like, hey, no, I think it was like, hey, can't wait to watch. Oh, wait a minute, checks notes. Can't wait to read.
And like, I won't reveal the secret identity of the Union admin, but even just poking them and being, because I know it's not in, their fault. They would love to stream the games. And being like, how are you going to say tune in when we got to read this live blog, admin? Like, I'll definitely hit them with some of that.
I feel bad for them, because like sometimes you'll be like updating, and they'll be like, they start a sentence and the blog like started, and there'll be like some like error code. And it's just like, they're probably like sitting there like,
oh my
like,
gosh.
Come on.
Oh, it. Technology, as you know, I'm sure more than aware, is chaotic at the best of times. But they're doing their best. And like I said, worst case scenario, at least teams don't have a lot of footage on us before the regular season starts. So and I can't believe next week we'll be down there at the stadium. So incredible. I can't wait.
So excited.
And we're going to be down there this Saturday for the kit release party. So
it's going to be amazing. And
it sounds like they're doing something with the history of the Union. Like I saw a little blurb. It's going to be something with the history. So that'll be interesting. And
they always do. We can't make these. My son's finishing CYO basketball. And, we've been to a million of these events. But no, that if you can be there, I recommend everyone be there, because they really do. Like you said, didn't hear any of the minutia, but they probably will have like a display of all the jerseys of years past. And like I said, they really make it fun. During the pandemic, they had the video interactions of Bedoya and other guys giving you a lot of insight into what the designs mean. And we are lucky to have such a great front office. And they really do, like, of course it's a business, but no, they really do care about the fans and the people. And there's a reason like our front office wins all these awards for social media and video, and just they put their heart and souls into every part of the game day experience, and we're lucky that like I said, they go all out for the fans, and I can't wait to hear you guys report back on it. Like I said, I'm lucky that I can't make it to this one. How about the meet and greet? Are you guys going to make it out to that, or
hoping to?
Crossing our fingers.
Yes.
Like because as you know, we're both swim coaches, so when it's practice, and so
weeknight's hard.
Weeknights are hard.
Yeah. Same deal. Like I said, Son's doing basketball this year, and Roxbury United stuff going on. But like I said, for any fans that can get down there, it's wonderful. The players go all out for all the fans, but most especially if you have kids. Even if you don't, they love when adults geek out too. They're very very great about that stuff. But it's really cool to see how excited they are to see you. And like it's I've never had a bad experience with any of the players, and like just seeing the smile that they give my kid. So hopefully everyone will make it out for either the the kit release or the meet and greet, and it's a great way to get excited for the season.
Absolutely. So that's going to be all the time we have for today. And again, Jeff, thank you very much.
Thank you guys for letting me give you a hard time about not being a guest on the show.
You're anytime, man. That was
awesome.
Glad
to have you on.
All love. I love the back and forth on Twitter.
Absolutely. I loved yesterday, and then you were like, and then Ed and Billy got in on it. I was gonna and then you made that picture. I was gonna have that thing from Austin Powers where he's like, strike two, like I was gonna be like strike two, and now I got
it's great.
Meeting.
Oh yeah, so and like you guys are doing a wonderful job with the podcast. Like I said, getting Stu in. If I can help you guys get in anyone else, man, I'll put the bug in Coach's ear. He's going to be busy for a while, but any of the players, like get them on, or even if you want to talk to ex-players, let me guys know. Like I said, this community likes to give back, and you guys are doing a great job. And also want to shout out how great it is that all the content creators here get along so well. And I love seeing Todd on here, and seeing Todd on other shows. Like it's great. I want to see you guys interact more and do like partial episodes on each other's podcasts and video cast, and like get involved. Like you said, you guys are part of the change and grow in this game, and that's awesome. Like how easy, like you guys just were like, hey, let's do this, and look what it's grown into already, and it's only going to get bigger and better as it goes on. So wish you guys continued success, and let's have a fun year this year, and let's keep this thing rolling, keep it positive.
Right.
Yes, let's go.
For sure. So in closing, where again can people find you at?
Sure. My regular name on Facebook, Jeffrey Mitchell, at Father of Ben. I think on Twitter and Instagram. I don't know, but you'll see me. I'm a big loudmouth. I get retweeted a lot and liked a lot and made fun of by Billy and Ed all the time, and everybody else. But it's all love. That's how we show love in Philly, by busting stones. So
yes,
if we don't like you, we ignore you. But if we love you, we'll bust your stones.
Yep.
I love you guys, and I was happy to bust your stones for a couple weeks leading up to this.
Yes. And I'm sure we'll continue that.
It will. It will go on forever.
Looking forward to it. So, and then you guys can follow us on Twitter at TOTWAG, the One Team We Agree On, and on Facebook and Instagram, the One Team We Agree On, all one word. And also want to encourage you guys, if you haven't yet, I wrote an article recently for the Free Kick.
Well done. This man pulled up some deep dive facts about preseason goals. So give it a read. It's awesome. And encourage other people. Like I said, if you feel the bug and you want to get involved in doing your own kind of podcasts or writing articles, talk to Todd, talk to talk to whoever, help each other, lift each other up. It's a great community, and let's all use our voices to bring people into the Union family and grow it across the world.
Absolutely.
Yes, right on.
Absolutely. Until next time, I'm Kyle.
I'm Jillian.
And we'll see you next time on the One Team We Agree On.